हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंड प्रणाम माता जी। जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद, प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम
और
माता
दो
जी।
शिला प्रभात इन गुरुदेव।
जय प्रभुपाद।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी। वेलकम बैक प्रभु जी।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। जय श्री प्रभुपाद। थैंक यू।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जी। जय श्री प्रभुपाद।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम। जय श्रीला प्रभुपाद।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता जय श्री प्रभुपाद। Okay. Thank you all very much for joining. Sorry for the delay. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्य मनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरु श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च। श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानु सुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपा तमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्य ईश्वरम्। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूप स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। So we will review chapter 16. Hopefully after 3 weeks we will finish our Bhagavad Gita if we continue every week. This chapter is called the Divine and Demoniac Natures, connection between chapter 15 and 16. Chapter 15 describes the banyan tree of the material world, and chapter 16 explains the divine qualities that elevate one on the tree and leads ultimately to liberation. Chapter 16 also explains the demoniac qualities and the mentality which drives one lower on the tree and ultimately to hell. So there is description in 15th chapter. The material world is compared to an inverted banyan tree, and how people go up and down in the banyan tree is described in the chapter. First few verses describes the divine qualities. Here is a big breakdown. First 6 verses transcendental and demoniac qualities. Krishna first describes the 26 divine qualities and then 6 demoniac qualities. Krishna describes this in chapter 12, some aspect of the 26 qualities of devotees, and all the 26 Krishna describes again in this chapter, and very long purport by Prabhupada. And then the 6 demoniac qualities, they are covered in first 6 verses. Then next 14 verses describes about the demoniac nature, the demoniac tendencies, then the demoniac philosophy, the result of such demoniac people, and everything about connected to demoniac tendencies is described. And last 4 verses describe how to escape this demoniac nature and go back to the spiritual kingdom. So first we will cover the 26 divine qualities. The first one, and the comment is basically some salient points taken from Srila Prabhupada's purport. The first one is fearlessness. It is specifically for sannyasis. Prabhupada said this is the first qualification of a sannyasi. Complete dependence on Supreme Lord's mercy. He has to be alone without guarantee of support, convinced that Paramatma will give all protection to surrendered souls. Usually, if somebody asks us, go and sleep outside, just in the backyard, we will have many fear who will come, which bugs will come. So imagine the sannyasis, they have to travel and they sleep under different trees every night, and they don't have any mosquito nets or any much protection. They just lie down on the ground and sleep. So, and especially they are very, very ferocious animals also. And we see that this same lifestyle routine was exhibited by Lord Chaitanya. He was constantly traveling to South India and then to North India to Vrindavan. So Prabhupada said this is the first quality of fearlessness. A sannyasi should be convinced Paramatma is sitting in the heart of all living entities, and one cannot harm unless inspired by Paramatma. And we see this quality of fearlessness. Haridas Thakur living with a snake. If we see snake anywhere in the house, we will be panic. What to speak about if the snake is living in the same room as we are? So it requires a huge amount of fearlessness. So this is specifically meant for sannyasis. Complete dependence on Supreme Lord's mercy. If whatever Krishna wants will happen, just like Maharaj Ambarish. If Krishna wants to kill me, then who can protect me? So it's easy to say, but it is a very, very advanced quality of fearlessness. Sometimes we see even a bee coming around our face and we are like, run away from here. Why? What if the bee sting on us? So it's a very, very difficult quality to develop, fearlessness. Then the second is purification of one's existence, sattva samsuddhi. Again, specifically for sannyasis. Naturally, all the practicing devotees should try to cultivate all of these qualities, but the specific one I mentions is like it's a must for them, and before, if they are in that particular order. So purification of one's existence, again for sannyasis, strictly following rules and regulations, especially forbidden intimate association with women. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally very strict. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu punishing Chota Haridas. And we know Chota Haridas was a sannyasi. But because of the thought that he had in his mind, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu rejected him, because of which Chota Haridas became very depressed. The associates of Lord Chaitanya, they consoled him, saying that Lord Chaitanya right now is very angry, come back after some time. Matter will resolve, don't worry Chota Haridas, because devotees are always very merciful. Lord Chaitanya wanted to show the strict example of how to deal in the particular ashram. Mahaprabhu was not budging an inch. After 1 year of waiting, hoping that Lord Chaitanya will bestow his mercy, Lord Chaitanya did not budge. Then finally, Chota Haridas, he went to Prayag and he entered into the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati and ended his life. And the news reached to Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Associate told Mahaprabhu that Chota Haridas committed suicide by entering into the confluence of the three rivers in Prayag. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said he deserved it. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed very, very strict example. Although externally, my spiritual master, His Holiness Sadhana Swami Maharaj, he explains it's not that thoughts may not come, or one has to follow like Chota Haridas. But if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu if he would have told that's all right, then every practicing devotee today will take advantage of that example and say it's okay, Mahaprabhu will forgive. And they may purposefully do wrong things. So when Mahaprabhu came, he wanted to set an example. And after that, something, because of inner contamination, there is something, that's why it said especially for sannyasis. Like for them, it has been very, very strict. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was personally very, very strict in dealing with, Mahaprabhu was very strict in dealing with wealthy people and in dealing with women, specifically these two. We see how Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was not willing to see Maharaj Pratap Rudra. He said he is a great devotee, but the word king is attached. And when Maharaj Pratap Rudra came in simple Brahmana robes as a humble servant, Mahaprabhu that time showed his mercy to Maharaj Pratap Rudra, assuming that he doesn't know he is the king. So this is again for sannyasis. Prabhupada says, although everyone must try to cultivate these habits. Then cultivation of knowledge, again, Jnana Yoga, Vyavasthiti, specifically for sannyasis. Duty of sannyasi must cultivate and give transcendental knowledge, especially to householders. The job of a sannyasi is to travel, go home to home, only for the purpose of giving the knowledge in the name of begging. Begging is an external reason. Internal reason is to educate on cultivating knowledge in all living entities. That's the role of sannyasis. Then humility, begs from door to awaken Krishna consciousness of others. They should carry, like Prabhupada says, a straw in their mouth and then beg others. Saraswati Thakur says you can preach only if you carry a straw in your mouth and then say please. And the best example of this particular behavior was Nityananda Prabhu himself. Then the next is charity. This is specifically meant for Grihasthashram. Given in the mode of goodness is right time, right place, and the right person. Spend 50% of their income to propagate Krishna consciousness. Charity in passion and ignorance is a waste of time. In a way, no, you will not have, even if you give in passion and ignorance. Good karma will be there. Whenever you are in need, the karma will provide you with the needs. But it is not bhakti. Then we know passion is either for name and fame. Ignorance is a wrong type of charity at the wrong place to a wrong person for the wrong cause. Then self-control is for all, especially for grahasthas, dhamma. And Prabhupada says, especially sex life should be used only for propagating Krishna conscious children, because there is facility for gratifying the senses in grahasthashram. So Prabhupada says, especially grahasthashram should have a lot of self-control. But naturally, self-control is required obviously in all the ashrams. Then sacrifice, then sacrifice is for grahasthas, yagya, requires material resources. Like we see many kings will perform many sacrifices. Indra performed sacrifices. And then Prabhupada says, but in this age, anyways, those sacrifices are obsolete. So Sankirtan Yagya is the best, and Sankirtan Yagya obviously is for all the four ashramas. Most inexpensive, Prabhupada says, most inexpensive, anyone can do. No qualification required, unlike the regular sacrifices only Brahmanas can do. And it gives the highest benefit of Golokera Prema Dhana. But other sacrifice, some benefits here and there. Vedic study Swadhyaya is mainly for brahmacharis because brahmacharis are meant for student life. So they should study scriptures. Recommendation from brahmacharis is celibacy and engagement of mind in the study of Vedic literatures. Then austerity is, obviously a Vedic scripture in ISKCON specifically, if you see, is for all the four, but brahmacharya must spend a special focus on studying the scriptures. Then austerity is brahmacharya means in ancient life, you live in the ashram of Guru, you render menial service to Guru, and you study under direction of Guru, just like a college, brahmachari life. You study and then you do some menial service, that's all. Then austerity, tapasya, Prabhupada says for all, especially vanaprastha. Human life and therefore Vedic culture is meant for liberation. For that, tapasya is a must. Prabhupada says one of the Prabhupada says tapasya is very important for human form of life. Prabhupada says especially those who are living in temple, they must get up by 4. They must attend Mangal Arati. This is tapasya. Human life is meant for tapasya. And Prabhupada says Prabhupada says, today I went in the Mangal Arati, someone was not there, so I went and told him that you are living in temple and you're not coming for Mangal Arati, so you should leave. You should not live. Prabhupada says one has to be very strict. If somebody is living in temple, he must practice tapasya. Everybody should practice, especially those living in temple. Mangalarti tapasya basically. But okay, one must retire after household life, approximately 50 years of age. Austerity can be of body, mind, and tongue. Refutes show bottle spiritualists who say that there is no need of austerity in life. So some people say, no, austerity is not needed. But then our Goswamis have shown very severe kind of austerities. And Krishna says this is one of the quality of a devotee. But naturally our austerity is something that helps to please Krishna. Krishna says austerity of tongue, austerity of mind, austerity of body, which we will discuss in more detail in the 17th chapter. Very nice topic. And why specifically Vanaprastha? Because there is a lot of attachment that is created between the family members in a Grihastha ashram. And they live in a lot of comfort, they are allowed to live in a lot of comfort. They can buy whatever they want. They can go wherever they want. Whatever desires comes, they have the facility to fulfill those desires. And because of which attachment, independence, freedom may be created. And then they go and live in the forest because it's an intermediate ashram between Grihastha and Sannyas. Sannyas is renounced order. And Grihastha is, Prabhupada says there is a facility is there. So in between the life of tapasya helps to give up those attachments. And it's like 50 to 75. They eat, they don't eat cooked food. Usually they go to the forest, obviously simple living, simple eating, simple dressing. So for them to do all these things is really austere. But ideally speaking, one may have a big house, which is okay, but simple living is recommended in all the ashram. Don't accumulate anything more than you need. If you don't use anything more than 6 months, or okay, maybe a year, if you don't use it, it's good to be thrown away. Minimum thing, simple living is recommended in all ashrams. In any ways, in ISKCON, there is no concept of going to the forest of Vanaprastha, but we emphasize simple living and holy name. Simplicity is for all, simple and straightforward. Prabhupada said straightforward means you can tell the truth even to your enemy, even if it is not palatable. Be straightforward, because when we are not straightforward, then we are cheating others. Then non-violence, ahimsa. Non-violence implies not checking progressive life of any living entity. Means don't kill them, otherwise they have to come back in the same body. Truthfulness, satyam, not distort the truth for some personal interest, especially Vedic instructions. This is truthfulness. There is a cheating propensity. It's one of the defect of a conditioned soul. In cheating propensity, we try to cheat in the name of, basically, we try to foster personal interests using the Vedic scriptures or the words of sadhus or the words of Prabhupada as our weapon. But internally, we are bent on convincing others what is our personal desire and how that is the right thing to do. So this is also duplicitous behavior. This is also cheating propensity. So truthfulness, satya means as it is. Tell well, this is, better to say, this is my somehow, okay, I'm not pure. This is my personal desire. I want it in this way. Better to be straightforward there rather than, as much as possible, we should try not to take shelter of duplicity and cheating propensity. Even if we have material desire, don't take shelter of duplicitous behavior. Rather be honest and be straightforward. Then it's a devotional quality. Misinterpreted Bhagavad Gita commentaries, process of understanding Vedas. Misinterpreted Bhagavad Gita commentaries, it's again, many commentators do that. And that's because they want to put forward their own interests, their own understandings. Again, that's lack of truthfulness. Then process of understanding Vedas, one must hear from authority. That is called Shruti. Shrinu means to hear. And then using, every Vedic scripture, every statement has a particular context. Out of context, we can use anything, anywhere, for any purposes. So one has to be careful. And we know also in our heart, this is my duplicitous behavior. So one must be honest and straightforward. Freedom from anger. Even if there is provocation, one should be tolerant. Anger pollutes the whole body. Anger is a product of passion and lust. Anger can be used in Krishna service for the sake of protecting the devotees, for the sake of like Hanuman, for the sake of service to Lord Ram, for the sake of service, for the sake of fighting the evil elements. Anger can be used. How Prabhupada will become angry with Mr. Nair and various places. So anger has its own, but if the anger is for selfish concerns or motivated by false ego, then it pollutes. And another aspect of anger we can see is should not disturb our consciousness. Even if you become angry at one person, if we are very much normal to everybody else, just like anger with the children, they become angry and then it does not affect them. So if the anger is not affecting us, that is a good sign. But if the anger is like overwhelming and then the anger spills over onto those living entities who are innocent, then that's a kind of pollution. Renunciation, using things properly in Krishna service. This is renunciation. Today we were discussing in the afternoon, renunciation makes dry renunciation if it is not done. If it is done for the sake of renunciation and thinking that, see, I am so renounced, see, I don't use these things, and there is pride in the heart because of one's own renunciation, that renunciation will make the heart hard. And in such a hard-hearted living entities, bhakti will not grow because bhakti needs soft heart. But renunciation, if it is focused only on bhakti, and renunciation is a product of our devotional service, because our bhakti is growing, if the renunciation is natural product of bhakti, then that renunciation is highly, highly recommended. And then there is tranquility, which is naturally peaceful, being peaceful, unaffected by disturbing emotions, peaceful and equipoised. Aversion to fault finding, apaishunam. Prabhupada says to call a thief is okay, but no unnecessary fault finding or correction. So Prabhupada says aversion to fault finding does not mean that you don't see anything wrong and you don't take action if something wrong is happening. It is a duty to protect. It is a duty of, say, of the leader of the family to protect. Something goes wrong, he has to see for it and he has to correct. But at the same time, if it is motivated by envy, if it is motivated by false ego, Prabhupada says no unnecessary fault finding or correction. That kind of criticism will become very disruptive to our progress in our bhakti. Compassion for all living entities, for all ashrams. Give spiritual knowledge, give prasadam, give books, give holy name. Freedom from covetousness. Covetousness is greed. And how do we become free from greed? By giving charity. And by through renunciation also we become free from greed. Then gentleness, friendliness to all living entities. When we are not friendly, harshness becomes a demoniac quality. Gentleness, friendliness becomes a divine quality. Modesty, do not perform abominable actions and be very modest. Prabhupada says, don't break regulative principles. Then the last 7, steady determination, achapalam for all, not agitated or frustrated in his efforts, regardless of failure. This is determination. Determination means whether I like it or I don't like it, I'm going to be persistent in my effort. Rupa Goswami says determination, enthusiasm, patience. Very, very important. Today morning we were discussing about Bilva Mangal Thakur's determination when he was attracted to a woman in a Grihastha ashram. I mean, to a woman of another Grihastha ashram. When he was attracted, he plugged his eyes because he felt his eyes are coming in way of his desire to attain Krishna. His eyes are becoming a distraction for him to attain Krishna. And he practiced devotional service with great determination, and Krishna gave darshan to him and gave him blessings and benedictions also. Sometimes when there is frustration in devotional service, we may have a tendency to not do it or to give it up. One second. Yes, not agitated or frustrated in his efforts, regardless of failure. I mean, failures will always be there. I'm sure there is nobody in the room who is high all the time. We always have our low phases, we always have our high phases. But determination means independent of how it feel, whether frustrated or whether happy, continue with your commitment to Guru and Krishna, your service to Krishna. Then progress with patience and determination. Okay. Then vigor, tejas, is for Kshatriyas, able to give protection to those who need it. So this is specifically for Kshatriyas, like specifically, Kshatriyas is basically the leaders of the society. They should be able to give protection to the weak, especially women, children, old people. They should be able to give protection. not post non-violent, but use violence when needed. Prabhupada was not very appreciative of Mahatma Gandhi because Prabhupada says, wherever there is wrong thing happenings, you have to take action. You cannot, Krishna does not propagate non-violence. Krishna specifically is telling here, you need to be able to give protection to those who need it. Then forgiveness, Shama. I mean, if you don't give protection to those who need it in the name of non-violence, then Krishna says that quality to Arjuna as weakness of heart. He does not say that, yeah, Arjuna, you are a very nice soul. He says, no, you are a weak soul. For what you are supposed to do, you are running away from that. What is your duty? Then forgiveness is for all, especially Kshatriyas, Shama. Forgive minor offenses to others. Now, a major is one thing, minor is one thing. Always somebody or other will say something or may say something, may do something that we may not like. But we must also try to practice Shama, which is a very, very, it's a devotional quality basically, but it is very much needed to please Krishna. My spiritual master says, if you don't practice Shama, then we are also full of faults. So we also may say something or do something. So we will not be forgiven also for our doings. And if we cause pain to other living entities, it will come back to us also. So forgive minor offenses of others. When one is able to curb down his enemies, he may, under certain conditions, show forgiveness. Under certain conditions, he may show forgiveness. We don't have to show forgiveness all the time also. I mean, not like we, but like especially for Kshatriyas, if somebody is like he does something, then justice should be done. Like Prabhupada does not appreciate Draupadi for giving Ashwatthama. Prabhupada says, that is not good. Prabhupada supports that Ashwatthama should be punished for killing the children. So here Prabhupada says, under certain conditions, one may show forgiveness. But where forgiveness should not be shown, should not be shown. Then fortitude, dhriti, is again for all. Mental and emotional strength when facing difficult situations. Means fortitude is basically called strength. So Prabhupada says mental and emotional strength when we face difficult situations. Some people break down when there is some emotional trauma, then they panic, they break down. That's lack of fortitude. Fortitude means face it, accept it, remain strong mentally and emotionally. Then cleanliness is for all. Prabhupada says internal cleanliness, mind and heart. Chetudarpana Marjanam. External cleanliness, body. Every day take bath, every day wear clean clothes. And in dealing with others, no black market or underhanded dealings. This Prabhupada says with respect to dealing with others. So this is also cleanliness. Then freedom from envy, not resentful of another. Like no desire to harm somebody. Then freedom from the passion for honor, nati manita. Again, all, especially Shudras, Prabhupada says, must respect others. Freedom from passion for honor. This quality, especially for Sudras, Prabhupada says, wow. Freedom from the passion for honor. Obviously, all the devotees should try to practice amanina. Amanina means not expecting respect for oneself. Prabhupada said humility is not expecting respect from others. But here Prabhupada says, especially Shudras must respect others. Shudras are meant to respect all the other three varnas. One should not be puffed up with unnecessary prestige and honor, but remain in one's own status. Okay, so these are 26 qualities one can develop by practice. Purposes, even though material conditions are miserable, if these qualities are developed by practice by all classes of men, then gradually it is possible to rise to the highest platform of transcendental realization. So one thing Prabhupada says is by practice of bhakti, they will automatically appear. Another thing Prabhupada says, if you try to develop these qualities, naturally they are very, very conducive for progressive bhakti, and not acting on these qualities will check our bhakti at least temporarily. So we all have our own experience. If we even artificially try to act on them, then it is much easier, and there is a progress to transcendental realization. Then Krishna goes on to describe the Prabhupada says this verse describes the royal road to hell. There are 6 demoniac qualities. The first one is called pride. Demoniac want to make a show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, but do not follow the principles. So they want to show that they are great souls. What is pride? They want to show, but they do not follow the principles. Like one sannyasi, Yugol Kisha Prabhu was quoting him. He mentioned if somebody is really trying to say that, see, we should not be doing this, and extra emphasis on something, then probably that person himself is doing one sannyasi said. And that's why he's putting so much emphasis on a particular aspect. So if one is not following the principles, but he's showing to others that how this principle is very nice, should be followed, that is purpose is pride. Demoniac want to make a show of religion and advancement in spiritual science, but do not follow the principles. Arrogance, they're all different forms of pride, especially the first 3 ones. Arrogance is proud in possessing some education and or wealth, and thus arrogant. I have better, maybe I'm more educated to you, better college, or I have more wealth than you. Then that is arrogance. And pride, Prabhupada connects to showing off one's bhakti when one is not very strictly following the principles themselves. Then conceit is desire to be worshipped by others. Demand respect, but do not command respect. So Prabhupada says, our action should be such that we should command respect. Demanding respect is a demoniac quality. Why are you not respecting me? But rather exemplary behavior, so others naturally respect us. That is okay. Commanding respect is basically set a good example. Then you command respect. Then anger, over trifles they become angry. Small thing and the anger comes. Then it's a demoniac quality. Harshness, we saw gentleness as a divine quality, and harsh words focused on hurting others purposefully, demoniac quality. Then ignorance, not knowing what to do and what not to do. This is ignorance. Do all whimsically according to their own desire. Do not recognize any authority. So that's like whimsical behavior. I mean, this is what I want to do. I think this is what is best, and do it. And that may not be good action. That may not be right decision. But doing it because I feel, it's basically whimsical nature. I feel this is the right thing to do and I will do it. Not knowing what is right, what is wrong. So Prabhupada says that is ignorance. So these are 6 demoniac qualities. Now the next section describes demoniac nature, demoniac philosophy. Demoniac nature is they do not know what is to be done and what is not to be done. I mean, they do wrong things, like even simple example of, say, killing animals. So they think it's okay to kill. So in a way, demoniac nature is they do not know what is to be done, what is not to be done. And they act as if they are the best people of the planet. and they are very kind, they are very innocent, they are very respectful to others. They speak very swiftly. They say very nice, "Hi, how are you? So happy to see you." And behind they eat animals. So they do not know what to be done and what is not to be done. Then they do not follow Shastra. So demoniac, like how it is explained, not like having two big teeth and two horns on the top. Demoniac is shown by them, by the qualities that Krishna discussed in Bhagavad Gita. What scripture says right and wrong is divine. And ignorance of knowledge of scripture naturally will make one demoniac, because then there is no knowledge. So they do not follow Shastra. Whatever it says, it's okay. This is what feels right. This is what everybody is doing. This is what Walmart is selling, and it's okay. So this is, again, they fall into demoniac nature. Unclean, external and internal, and improper behavior, anger and harshness. Naturally, when our eating habits and our other regulatory principles are not clean, and if we are breaking them, then anger, harshness will become very prominent also. They're not truthful, concoct philosophies for their own purposes, and self-centered. Now, naturally, these people, they want to show as if they are right. So they concoct their own philosophies, and their philosophy is what matches their life. And they try to convince others that what they are doing is right. This is demoniac nature. They may know what is right, what is wrong inside their heart, but they concoct their own philosophy, and everything they do is centered around the self. The demoniac philosophy, word is unreal with no God in control. So they say, "Who has seen God?" I am an atheist. They openly say, "I am an atheist." Means it's a demoniac philosophy. So who created? Prabhupada says, so who created? Everything happens by chance. No cause other than lust. They say, man and woman, they come together, the child is created, and it's a machine, and it takes an input and there's an output. And that's it. Man, woman, children, again, man, woman, children, man, woman, children. Where is the soul? And they have a life. Every machine has a life. They also die. There is no soul. Afterlife, we don't believe in all those things. So they say, what is the cause of everything? Everything is coming because of lust only. Then demoniac attitude and engagements. Attitude, the demoniac are lost to themselves, illusion, and have no intelligence. They think they are advancing. So they're lost to themselves. In a way, they don't know who they are as part and parcel of Krishna, having a loving relationship with the divine. So they're illusioned by thinking that I am this physical bodies, and this is my family, and this is my nation, and this is my food, and this is my work, and this is my profession, and this. So this is all illusion. This is all illusory understanding of oneself. That's why they're lost to themselves, covered by illusion. And no intelligence, they think that they are advancing. They may do some innovation, and they think that they are growing, position is growing, and I don't know in whatever way they think, but they think they are advancing. Sense gratification is the primary necessity of human civilization. Whatever they do, what is the focus? Focus, sense gratification. That sense gratification can come in the mode of passion, in the mode of goodness, in the mode of ignorance. In the mode of goodness, now you want to enjoy some name and fame. You want to enjoy simple life. You want to enjoy nature. You want to enjoy gardening. You want to enjoy maybe some yoga and pranayam. This is all. Actually, it's all good. Gardening is good. Yoga and pranayam good. But if it is not connected to Krishna, if while doing anything, if you're not remembering Krishna, then it becomes a goodness sense gratification. Pranayam, devotees also do. It's very nice. But then devotees do thinking to give energy to this body so it can serve Krishna. And while doing pranayam, automatically Mahamantra is going on. But if Krishna is completely disconnected, then it's mode of goodness sense gratification. So whatever they do, because they don't believe in Krishna and their goal is not to go back to Godhead, or to develop a loving relationship with the divine, everybody fall into, as per this chapter, as per Lord Krishna, everybody falls into being a demons. And everyone is centered around sense gratification in one of the three modes. So they say sense gratification is prime necessity of human civilization. Then what are their engagements? Engage in unbeneficial, horrible works meant to destroy the world. Animal killing, nuclear weapons. Prabhupada says, why so many suffering? Like somebody, I think Yugal Kishore Prabhuji was mentioning Corona because of cow killing. Prabhupada said, uh, like resetting or nature is revolting and various things like that. But naturally, if Krishna is not in the center, they don't have understanding of Shastra, then they think they are advancing, but they are engaged in horrible work, which is meant to destroy the world, like nuclear weapons. Secure money by illegal means for sense gratification. This is clear. Then demoniac mentality, they take shelter of insatiable lust, keep increasing desires for material enjoyments. Insatiable lust is not limited to sex life. But now I'm the enjoyer. How can I enjoy more with whatever I have? And they have continuous plans. Devotees also have continuous plans, but they have continuous plans about what to do, how to give Krishna. We should have those plans. Just like spiritualizing those desires. Like Prabhupada said, one must always be thinking about how to propagate Krishna consciousness movement. What do I do? Now let's start Rath Yatra. Prabhupada started Rath Yatra. Now let's start our own farm communities. Now let's open a restaurant. Now let's start Gurukul for devotees. Now let's start Bhagavatam classes here. So Prabhupada is always engaging. Now send these devotees there, open the centers there. So it's like always seeing how to advance the Krishna consciousness movement. But when Krishna is not in the center, service is not in the center, then it's like, how can I increase my sense gratification? So it's like after 2 years, I want this car. I need a bigger house. I will earn this much and I will get that. Whatever I want to enjoy, whatever I want to get, the goal is to acquire those things. So everything they do, their focus is selfishness. How I am going to get benefited from that? What is in my position? Now this land came to me. Now these 3 cars I have. And now my home looks better and bigger and maybe more rooms and more finished. Or maybe, all new amenities I have in my house now. Now, again, it's like I. So this is like increasing desire for material enjoyment. Now, naturally, devotees also needs to maintain everything that they have, but with a spiritual consciousness as much as possible. And then rest of the time they should be absorbed in how to propagate the mission, how to serve. But outside, this is only thing that is there, and no Krishna connection is there. But yes, as much as there is a desire for personal desire, to that extent, we may try to purify or direct those desires in Krishna service. They are absorbed in the conceit of pride and false prestige, gliding down but think advancing. Prabhupada says. So they think like, see, I am so great now. Now this is what I am doing, and these many people I have access to, or I can kind of control these many people, and I have whatever, etc. So they think that they are growing. They think they're advancing. See, now I'm and the CEO of this company, and now see how much progress I have made, where I was from, what do they say, from ashes to whatever they say, from poor to rich. So they glorify such people. So they think that this person has made so much advancement in his life, but they are absorbed in their own false prestige and pride. This is demoniac mentality. Always sworn to unclean work, break for everyday principles, and attracted by impermanent, basically attracted by matter. I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. Whatever they see, they think, okay, how can I enjoy this? Or how can I bring this situation under my control? So I am the controller, I am the enjoyer, indicates false ego. What is absence of false ego? Absence of false ego is Krishna's will happen anyways. False ego means this is how, if things don't go my way, then there is frustration. So there is surrender. When there is no false ego, then there is surrender. Otherwise, there is a doership mentality. I did it. I have to do like this. Okay, I am the controller, I am the enjoyer. I am perfect and powerful. Everything is done by my potency. They think whatever is happening is because of me. Arey Baba, it's not because of you, it's because of Krishna's mercy on you. But the Krishna mercy part is gone, and I am, see what I can do. See how powerful I have become now. See how I'm so much perfect, better than others. So then we fall into the demoniac mentalities. Then my enemies are defeated and I'm happy. Or those are my enemies and they are out of my way now. So any other enemy, so this I have to somehow cater, and then I'll be the soul enjoyer, and then everything will be in my control, and then very nice, everything will be perfect. So it's all centered around me, which is basically indicates false ego. Then I am the lord of everything that I survey. So, oh, this is the situation. Yeah, if this happens, then I'll be very happy. Very good. So this should happen in these circumstances. Oh, this happening. It's so disturbing to me. Why? Because now I cannot enjoy because of the circumstances we have created. It's quite frustrating. Now I'm depressed. So everything is centered around I am the enjoyer, which basically means that I am the lord of everything that I serve. So it's not that these qualities don't exist in us. There is one extreme, but they are within all of us also, maybe to a lesser degree now compared to how it was earlier, because we are trying to shift towards devotional side. I remember when I first read this chapter, I think I was in college that time, and it was like an eye opener for me. And I thought, like, wow, how Bhagavad Gita knows me as it is. And this sounds like, especially some of the verses, this sounds like like my heart. And that was eye opener. And then I thought, well, I need to do something. There is something in Bhagavad Gita, which is, and then I know clearly this is demoniac. So I don't want to be a demon. Naturally, we don't want to be a demon. So then I was like, oh, I should become serious now. I should probably move in the right direction. Then result of demoniac work, perplexed by various anxieties. Anything, whenever we want to be the enjoyer, we want to be the controller, we will get frustrated. Whenever, because, then we are not seeing Krishna's will. And we are not praying, Krishna, let your will, my Lord, not mine. And we are not seeing, okay, what does Krishna wants here? We try, like Prabhupada says, we try as if we are result oriented, but then internally we are conscious, Krishna, whatever you want should happen only. Krishna, I don't want anything in a way. I don't want things to be in this way or things to be in that way. I want things to be your way. Whatever is your plan should be executed. And if this is not your plan, it doesn't matter what my plan is. What matters what your plan is. So always seeing the hand of Krishna is very nice. But the moment we are attached to our plans, our ideas, there will be a lot of anxieties because things are not going to go our way anyways. But if you again and again at every step take shelter of Krishna and see the hand of Krishna, then every step you will be pacified. Oh, this is what Krishna wanted. This is what Krishna wanted. What does Krishna want in this situation? Maybe that's why this is happening. Maybe that's why this is happening. Then no matter what adverse situation comes, you try to see the hand of Krishna. And if adverse situation goes away, then you know, oh, probably Krishna wanted in this way only. Okay. So every moment we should try to see the hand of Krishna. Then no anxieties. The network of illusion, the result of demoniac work is they become bound up with hundreds and thousands of desires. Krishna uses the word moha jal, fish in a net, and no way to come out. Fish in a net, where will the fish go? Bound, right? So likewise, network of illusions. Network of illusion means completely bound up by so many desires. What I want to become, where I am, what is my frustrations, where is my enjoyment coming from, what I want to be in future. So everything is like we are completely engulfed by an illusory shell, and we are running behind our own illusory conceptions of life. But devotees, they are running behind and realizing their eternal relationship with Krishna. Oh, I want to know who am I. I want to fall in love with Krishna. I want to become overwhelmed by devotion to Krishna. I want to cry for Krishna. I want my heart to be filled with gratitude for Krishna. And then, this is like going towards real life. And otherwise, it's like hundreds and thousands of desires, moha jal, completely caught up in our own shell. That is broken by Bhagavatam. And too strong attachment to sense enjoyment. And actually, we don't get what we want all the time, and then there is frustration, there is anxiety, and it's life becomes a mess actually. Then Krishna says they fall down to hell because of their conceptions of life. Then demoniac preachings, they are envious of God, saintly person scriptures. They see God, they are envious. They hear about Krishna, they become angry. Somebody tell them, hey, chant Krishna's name, Krishna, and they feel like, yeah. But inside they are like, leave me alone. So this is called envy of God. Envy of saintly people, they see saintly people and they feel like grida from Vaishnavas. This is called envy. Means envy Prabhupada says they don't like. They see saintly people and they feel danger. This is all because of envy. And scriptures. Somebody, this is Bhagavad Gita. It's about Vedic scriptures, tells about life. And it's like, immediately there is fear of losing their sense gratification and they don't want to hear. So demoniac preachings, and they are Prabhupada, they're actually envious of themselves, because what they are doing is they're losing their opportunity to be happy by entering into a loving relationship, a sweet loving relationship with Krishna. But they want to continue in their own shell of pride, false ego, full of anxieties, full of material desires, and full of frustrations. They want to continue life like that. Hey, here's an opportunity. You can develop a sweet, loving relationship with Krishna and be completely absorbed in that relationship. Here is an opportunity, but no, because they are envious. So this is demoniac preachings. They proudly perform, and those who are devotees also, they try to pull them away. Hey, why are you going to there? Don't you know there are so many restrictions? So it's like this is called demoniac preachings. They proudly perform sacrifice in name only, and they show themselves as if they are very godly people. They put a big red tilak on their face. go to temple here and there and invite people for some kirtans, not our Hare Krishna kirtan, but just some, something for auspiciousness. Every religious activity they do is motivated by sense gratification. Why? Some auspicious will come, home will be purified, so negative elements will go away, so trouble will not come to us. It's always based on sense gratification only. So they perform sacrifices in name only without following any rules and regulations. They don't care about. Some pujari comes and does some activities. Khatam karo, finish it off fast. Then I want to eat my prasad of my food, which my mother cooked for me, or I want to go out and play with my friends, but I'm bound in this. So quickly. So in name only they do, due to illusion caused by wealth and false prestige. And they don't take shelter because they're too full of themselves. So why do I need shelter? To take shelter, like one has to realize that I'm helpless. When we realize I'm helpless, then Krishna, I'm helpless. Krishna, please help me. Krishna, please show your mercy unto me. But otherwise, and humility actually comes by chanting Hare Krishna. Mahamantra will humble you. Unless you don't give up Mahamantra, Mahamantra will give you all qualities actually. Durdaiva midrishami ha janin anuraga. My Lord, I am so fallen. Why? Krishna says, why are you feeling you are so fallen? The devotee says, my Lord, I am so fallen because I have no attraction for you. I have no taste in chanting your holy names. That's why I am so fallen. Krishna, please show your mercy. Then preach that whatever path one creates is one's own path. There is no standard path. So they say, it's all the same anyways, right? So this is demoniac preachings. Then others concoct their own God. So they say, for me, this is God. For me, this is God Sakshat here. So they have their own gods. Some preach that God is dead. Others say, you are all yourself God. This is all demoniac preachings. Then faith of demoniac, they are perpetual. Krishna says, I perpetually cast them down in the ocean of material existence. They are perpetually cast into various demoniac wombs in the ocean of material existence. Attaining repeated birth among demoniac species, such persons can never approach me. And because of their own mentality, their own desire, their desires get fulfilled. Yes, no Krishna. And what do you have? Then you have frustration, you have anxiety, you have pride, you have harshness, you have anger, you have envy. This is all that you get. You don't get any of the 26 divine qualities. Then gradually they sink down to the most abominable type of existence. So go down and then sometime become a snake, sometime become a bhikshu, scorpion. And there are many kinds of hellish lives, many kind of hellish species. So Krishna says, I cast them down. Why? Because, that's what you wanted. They glide down to hell. Supreme Lord, and then Prabhupada concludes by saying Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. The placing of asuras in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. What happens? Suffering brings humility. Suffering forces us to surrender. Take shelter. I've seen many people come, Krishna says 4 kinds of people come to me. And one of them are distressed. I was talking to one Mataji and she is like, finding a lot of peace in Krishna consciousness and in coming to programs because her son is artistic. So she is going through a lot of anxieties, taking the child to all different hospitals. The child can behave properly, walk properly, talk properly, and she is meeting a dead end. So because of everything, she is finding peace in Krishna. So then that is also Krishna's mercy. I mean, naturally, she's a very divine soul. But in general, like good example here is the suffering that Gopal Chapala went through when he offended Shivas Thakur. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the first go, he did not freed him from the suffering because he saw that he has not developed the consciousness for mercy. But when Mahaprabhu, after the whole South India tour, when he again was going to Ramkeli to deliver Rup and Sanatan, not to deliver, to meet basically Rup and Sanatan, or to reunite with his eternal associates Rup and Sanatan. Then on the way he delivered Gopal Chapala. But this time, because of years of suffering, he became very humble actually. He begged for forgiveness from Shivas. He understood, he realized his mistake. So Krishna has no hatred for anyone. Why Krishna gives us suffering? Krishna gives us suffering because Krishna wants us to improve. Krishna wants us to reflect what is going wrong. And Krishna is very, very kind. If we are sincere, Krishna will give us intelligence. Then Krishna will give us inspiration. Hey, that thing was wrong. Should not have done like that. And that's why for devotee, suffering is very good actually. Because without suffering, how will we learn? Suffering makes us humble. Suffering makes us take shelter. Suffering makes us realize our mistakes. Otherwise, we will start thinking, I'm better than others. And so many anarthas will just pop up because many anarthas pop up from bhakti. But Krishna curbs them down. Actually, it is said that if you offend devotees, Krishna will let anarthas go up and up and up. And we won't realize. But if we are sincere and if we are trying our best, then those people Krishna shows his special mercy by giving them suffering. For every, for devotees, the reaction comes very fast. Next day only reaction is there. We may not like suffering, but it's the greatest benediction for us. Suffering is the impetus to become pure devotees for us. So for even for those who are completely on opposite path, suffering, many people come out of distress actually, many. So Supreme Lord has no hatred. Krishna very says, I cast them down into hell, but Krishna does not say this is my mercy on them. So that's why Prabhupada's purports are so important. Prabhupada said the Supreme Lord has no hatred for anyone. The placing of asuras in the lowest status of life is simply another feature of his mercy. And then the last section, it's a very short section. Escaping to the supreme destination, getting free from demoniac qualities. To achieve release from the state of conditional life, one must follow the dictation of the scriptures and not the dictation of lower material modes. Lower material modes will impel us into lust, anger, and greed. Anger, mode of ignorance will impel us into anger. Mode of passion will impel us into lusty desires. And greed is also mode of passion. And these are called lower modes. And dictation of lower modes, one must not follow them. But then we are impelled by those same modes. But then when we act on them, the devotees won't go to hell. For sure, devotees are not going to go to hell. Even if they act out of lust, anger, and greed. All the gateways to hell for devotees acting out of lust, anger, and greed is suffering will come though. Hell won't go. Suffering will come. They have to pay the price for their actions. Maybe heavily bodily suffering may come if it's a kind of grieve offense like illicit relationship. One devotee, very confidential, he mentioned that initiated actually. He mentioned that he had an illicit relationship. And then he went through I think 20 years of severe suffering he went through. But for devotees, definitely no hell. I mean, obviously we know one who wears Kanthi Mala, Yamaraj. Yamaraj, we never have to see Yamaraj. No hell for us, but suffering will come. There are 3 gates to hell: lust, anger, and greed. Anger, we become angry. Our chanting will be disturbed. Mind will be disturbed. Krishna conscious suffering will come. And then we realize this is not good for me. I need to work on it. I need to work on it. I need to work on it. And that's an impetus to improve. Because for devotees, suffering is make them pure devotees. Suffering makes devotees into pure devotees. That is unlimited mercy of Krishna. Lust also, if they act on lust, they will have to suffer. Lust will make the mind disturbed like anything. Peace of mind will go away. Like devotees generally have peace of mind. Mind will be very much disturbed. Lot of fault finding will come, lot of criticism. Mind will just go like crazy. And when mind is crazy, we know life is very miserable. So one activity and probably months or years of suffering. Generally few months for sure. And then if Krishna's mercy is there, devotees realize, oh, wow, that was hell for me. So lust, anger, greed, they will make us suffer. Why one should give up these 3 gates? Because they lead to degradation of the soul. I mean, Nectar of Instruction also says some kind of devotees, they learn by listening. Some kind of devotees, they learn by seeing or hearing. Seeing. Some kind of devotees, they learn by experiencing. Some kind of devotees, they never learn. So I think most of us lie in 3rd and 4th category, generally speaking. By controlling these qualities, one escapes demoniac life and attain happiness. Actions of one who escaped the 3 gates, he performs acts conducive to self-realization and attains supreme destination. Okay. I think this is the last slide. Prescription of Vedic literature. The entire method is based on giving up lust and anger. That's what the scriptures propagate again and again and again and again and again. Give up. Don't act on the lower modes of material nature. Is based on giving up lust and anger. Anger also comes because of lust. Lust comes because of desire to enjoy. So we overcome that path. We try to overcome that path by centering things around Krishna. The more one gives up, the more his existence becomes pure. Prabhupada said, free from lust, 50% existence is purified already. And then the mind, it takes a very long time to become pure. Then he can follow all the rules and regulations and gradually rise to the spiritual realization. Yogesh Prabhuji always says, whatever we watched 20 years back will also come here. So something goes into the mind is like going to rot there for a very long time. So it's very easy to contaminate ourselves, but very difficult to purify ourselves. But bhakti is very powerful. But bhakti has to be taken with prescription. Prescription means strictly follow the 4 regulative principles. Then bhakti will be effective. Otherwise, Prabhupada says it becomes ineffective. You are chanting, and then if you break in subtle forms the 4 regulative principles, then you cannot absorb in chanting. If chanting doesn't advance, how do you become free? Ultimately, chanting has to advance to purify ourselves. Even if he accepts the existence of God, if he does not engage himself in the service of the Lord, his attempts are spoiled. Prabhupada says, just saying God is there, Krishna is there is not sufficient. You have to serve Krishna. If he accepts the existence of God, but he does not engage himself in the service of the Lord, then his attempts are spoiled. Thus, one can rise to the platform of Krishna consciousness by giving up lust and anger, by strictly following the rules and regulations, by serving Krishna, by becoming purified in this way, then one can become pure devotees of Krishna. Okay, so that's all about 16th chapter. Are there any discussion? Anyone has any questions on this question? Okay. Mother, you have something? No.
Thank you, Prabhuji, for a wonderful lecture. Learned a lot. Still have to learn a lot, but it was just wonderful, Prabhuji. It's without Krishna, I feel without Krishna, there's nothing. He is the controller and instructor, and we get this knowledge from you, Prabhuji. I feel so blessed. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
I'm very blessed by all of your association.
Hare
Thank you all.
Hare Krishna.
Then Pranam, Prabhuji, Mataji, thank you very much. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. One Shakal Patarubhesha, Vipasindhu Be Evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Anand Koti Vaishnavendra ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam, Krishna.
Thank you very much,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a small question, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Mata.
Prabhuji, you mentioned about demoniac mentality. That demoniac mentality, the feeling that we are doing or show off, doing show off or something. Prabhuji, at the same time, if we have some service, we are to engage some other devotees, we will lose service sometimes. But we don't know, Prabhuji, is it a good thing? At the same time, we are losing service too. By engaging other devotees in the service, we are losing service too. So sometimes I'm not able to understand, is Krishna is pulling me out of the service, or is it because of my demonic mentality or whatever I have, Krishna is pulling me out of the service, or can I be greedy for my service?
Very good question. I will give you both perspective, Mataji. One perspective is we should be very attached to our service. This is one perspective. We love our service. We want to do our service in the best way we can. And then when we are attached to our service and we want that service, but at the same time, if we feel like somebody else may be very much interested in this service, and although I'm very much attached to the service, I'm willing to give that service to somebody else for them to take care, and hoping Krishna will engage me somewhere else. It is a very great consciousness. But when it is like, oh, how do I come out of the service? Whom can I assign? When the enthusiasm for service is there, and despite our great enthusiasm to serve, we let somebody else serve. And when letting somebody else serve is an austerity for us, it's a greater service to engage others. But when we lose enthusiasm to service, and we are trying to somehow come out of it, somehow delegate to somebody, then that consciousness is may not be the best situation for us. Did I answer? At what cases delegating is a blessing?
Thank
No?
you. Thank you, Prabhuji.
All right. Thank you very much. Dandavat Pranam.
Prabhuji, I have one question, Prabhuji.
Go ahead, Madhuri.
Prabhuji, like these demoniac qualities or like other qualities, like right now we are practicing and we don't have transcended the modes yet, right? Like we are under the control of the mode. So whatever qualities or whatever actions we are performing, they're still under the control of the material nature, like three modes. So, as we learn, like these are the demonic qualities, and we should not act on them. So, but sometimes we feel like we are like so much under the control of the three modes that sometimes we wanted, like we should not act on them, but still, like we continue acting on them. So, on the sadhaka stage, uh, like maybe our chanting is not good, or maybe there are some other motives in our service. So there are so many reasons. So but still, like how we can like avoid the demoniac qualities and cultivate the Vaishnava qualities on the
Hmm.
sadhaka stage, Guruji.
Yeah, Mataji, that's what I think. I'll repeat one particular statement that I made. Some devotees, they don't act on it and they learn by listening. Some, they learn by seeing. Some, they go through the experience of acting on those qualities and they learn by their own experiences. And some still continue after going through all the experiences. And at some point of time, after repeated sufferings and repeated sufferings and repeated sufferings, then by the mercy of Krishna, they may realize and then they give those things up. Now, honestly speaking, Mataji, disclaimer, I'm fourth category. So many of us may be in the fourth category. So at least my 1 cent realization is whatever demoniac qualities we discussed, that is us. We should not think that, oh, these demoniac qualities are for outsiders. And I'm a divine person. That may be a little bit of false pride, actually, thinking in this way. But every demoniac quality we should try to see from our perspective. What is our hope? Our hope is Krishna intervenes. Krishna gives us suffering. That is the greatest blessing. Whenever we act on any demoniac quality, Krishna gives us suffering, Krishna gives us realization, Krishna gives us enthusiasm, Krishna gives us determination not to act on them. Krishna gives us resolution, hey, never I want to act on this quality or that quality again. I am done with this. And after repeatedly trying and maybe sometimes failing and repeatedly trying, when Krishna sees we have great desire to improve and great desires to get rid of them, Krishna may take those out. And this stage of purification is gradual. To the extent we are practicing, gradually we will go from demoniac to divine.
Guruji, can you repeat this, the last statement?
By the mercy of Krishna, when Krishna removes, we will go from demoniac to divine gradually. We can at least become humble by understanding where I am right now. And if we are desperate, if by Krishna's mercy we can see, first thing is identification. We need to be able to see where I'm going wrong. What is the flaw in my consciousness? What is the suffering I'm getting from that wrong consciousness? And then, oh, this is too much. Then there is a desire. I don't want to be like this. I will never do this again. Bahut ho gaya. Enough is enough. And then this is all Krishna's mercy to give us the strength to be able to not act on them. Ultimately, these qualities are not going, today we start chanting and tomorrow we are pure. It doesn't happen, Mataji, you know very well. It's a lifetime process. Gradually we develop all these qualities. But good to understand, good to hear, good to reflect. But ultimately, the path of Bhakti Yoga is I cannot become pure. I will depend on Krishna. By Krishna's mercy, I can become pure. But one thing is there. Any demoniac quality we act on, frustration will be there. Suffering will be there. Anxieties will be there. Whatever Krishna says, the effect, they will be there. And this continues till we give all those desires. Like one of the demoniac quality is desire for sense gratification. I don't know how many of us are free from desire for sense gratification. But then it's gradual purification. Is it all right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you very much. Prabhuji's Mataji's. Dandat Pranam, Hare Krishna. We'll end.